Welcome to the Trade Talk Showcase on Brownfield. I'm anchor reporter Megan Grebner. With us is Dan Poston, Director of Agronomy with Pivot Bio. Good morning.
Good morning, Megan. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Great to see you. We today are going to talk a little bit about your nitrogen study. Talk to me a little bit about how Pivot Bio Proven is helping to increase corn plant nitrogen.
Okay, Megan, I'll be glad to do that. Let's kind of take a step back before we do that, and let's kind of talk about what Pivot Bio Proven really is. So Pivot Bio Proven is Pivot Bio's first nitrogen fixing microbe that we have sold commercially, and it fixes nitrogen for corn plants and other cereal type crops. But for now, the focus is on corn. So as Director of Agronomy, one of the tasks I have is trying to determine and document how that microbe is working in the field. If it is a nitrogen fixing microbe, then it should allow the plant to take up more nitrogen. So much of our focus in 2020 was to develop trials and studies collectively with customers, multiple trial types, and document that the microbe was actually resulting in more nitrogen in the actual corn plants as an indication that it's doing its job and it's working. So one of those studies that we just released findings on was actually a sampling effort where we requested that customers send in samples. Those samples would be from Pivot Bio Proven treated areas of the field and non-treated areas of the field. And these were whole plant samples, whole above ground samples of plants that got sent to a commercial lab, got dried, weighed, processed for tissue sampling, just like you would a leaf sample. The only difference was these were whole plants. So we processed all of those samples and basically found out that at about 70% of the locations, the plants actually had more nitrogen per acre captured in the above ground plant material. So that was a good indication that the microbe was really doing what it was supposed to do at the overwhelming majority of the locations that were sampled in that customer project. Also, of course, our customers are interested in, well, how much more nitrogen was in the plant material. And in this study, it was about 17 pounds more on average. If you look at that as a statistical confidence interval, that range was somewhere between 10 and 25 pounds more nitrogen per acre. Now, if the crop and canopy captures more nitrogen, then hopefully that nitrogen translates into more yield. And in most cases it does. Not always, but in most cases, because there are a lot of things that limit yield other than just nitrogen. So, but if you assume a typical, let's say, nitrogen harvest index for a corn plant, that 10 to 25 pounds of nitrogen should equate to about a 6 to a 14 bushel per acre difference in yield potential. So we're excited to know that the microbe, especially in 2020, was out there doing what it was supposed to do, fixing nitrogen. Plants were taking that nitrogen up, and it was actually ending up in the crop material. So that's we just released that report here this week. So and we have other reports that will follow that. We have some specific reports on actual ear leaf nitrogen, the nitrogen that remobilizes directly into the ear, and Pivot Bio Proven's effect on leaf nitrogen as well as whole plant nitrogen. So you'll hear more about that here in the next week or so, perhaps in an additional report release.
Dan, why is it so important for producers to have access to products like Pivot Bio Proven that help improve efficiency and maximize their return on investment, especially when you look at a year maybe that was a little bit more volatile market-wise and looking ahead to the same kind of conditions?
Well, of course, nitrogen management's always huge for any corn producer. And as we talk to producers, all of these producers want to do a good job using nitrogen. They don't really want to use any more than they have to. They want to be protective of the environment while really maintaining, a profitable operation. So we play well into that. We've got a microbe that can help them fix more nitrogen, possibly reduce some of the synthetic nitrogen that is in their system, therefore be more environmentally friendly, and also in that also be more profitable. So we fit all those, or check all those boxes, so to speak, and we think that Pivot Bioproven has a real fit there on most operations.
Dan, as we wrap up today, what are some things that producers need to think about as they're looking ahead to 2021 and maybe are looking for a product like Pivot Bioproven to add into their operations?
Well, I think that farmers in general just need to think about their overall nitrogen management plans. Our solution in the past, in many cases, has been, especially as nitrogen gets cheaper, in the years where it's cheaper, it's just to solve our nitrogen issue by adding more nitrogen into the system, and that's not always the best case. Sometimes that creates more problems than it solves, and it certainly is not the environmentally sensitive thing to do. So I think we can replace some of those pounds with something like a Pivot Bioproven, and everybody comes out in a win-win situation.
If folks want to find out more information, what's the best way for them to do so?
Best way is always pivotbio.com. You can always find who you need there. And if they can't find anyone there, they're always free to email me at dan@pivotbio.com.
Dan, great to see you. Thank you so much for the information.
You're welcome, Megan, anytime.
That's Dan Poston, Director of Agronomy with Pivot Bio. And I'm Megan Grebner for Brownfield.